Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Yes, art is very, very personal. Some of us love Salvador Dali's concepts to make you think about what your deepest desires and nightmares happen to be. Me, I agree with George Orwell. George Orwell felt that Dali's pictures were aberrations on display, but his was a genius in his ability to draw. I concur. That, and that Orwell stated Dali was certainly an atrocious human being. Now, Dali never once actually lived in Monterey. So this is where my confusion got as far as Dali being celebrated at the Museum of Monterey, until I discovered by phone call that the museum has now changed its title to the Dali Museum of Monterey. So Monterey history is no longer present in our museum. And I recommend that we replace what is actually a Pebble Beach millionaire's tax write-off back with our local history, our local heroes, and our local artists. That is the point of this PowerPoint presentation today. This is a gift from Pat Hansen. Her article that lets us know from a magazine that Dali was about erotics. Now, I want you to imagine this being on your family room wall. It could be something you really got into and liked, but Dali was not a fan of the female form. I mean, he liked it, but he wanted nothing to do with it. And he did, in fact, depict women as something that needed to be wrapped up in snakes, stabbed in the back. You'll see what I mean. Again, think of the family room wall, the grandkids coming in. This is one of his pieces called Accommodations of Desire, which of course many men like women, and so did Dali in a way, but he also believed that the vagina was a beware of the tooth-crawling, ant-infested, bloody vagina devouring manhood. Now, to me, that's just something that I don't find attractive as a piece of art, personally. More ideas of Dali are women who are awaiting a horrible death from guns and violence from tigers being torn asunder. Dali's other thing is he believed that the female mind was filled with drawers of secrets. Note the drawers going down the female form, and the other female form being stabbed in the back with another dagger about to plunge into her own heart, and the burning giraffe in the back. Yeah, Dali. The whole point of the Monterey Museum's connection to Monterey is that he lived here in the Hotel Del Monte for a brief period of time. They don't make a big deal about the brief period of time. They're talking about this amazing party that Dali threw in September of 1941, which for anybody that knows the history of the Naval Postgraduate School, that is when the hotel was sold to the Navy. So this was the last hurrah. This was the big goodbye to the hotel. And the theme for Dali was bad dreams in an enchanted forest. So Dali had the other artists of the area come in and help him put up and decorate the hotel, one of the, I believe it was the Bali room, with paper mache and all kinds of stuff. You can see gunny sacks, and they're filled with newspapers, and his wife is there with animals that Dali borrowed from the Flyshacker Zoo. Now, so, and that's a lion cub that's on the bed, and there were animals used as table decorations in cages screaming bloody murder. You can imagine a wild animal on the table. You'll see that later. But Dali has his wife in the bed at the head of the table, and the rest of the table was depicted as everyone at the table was sleeping with his wife, and he was quite happy with that idea. And this is the table. Caged wild animals, monkeys, frogs, dismembered and beheaded female mannequins. They were all part of the decor. One woman was completely nude and drugged to unconsciousness. So that was something that a local artist was concerned with, and he kept his eye on her because the whole place was a combustible terror because people smoked in those days. So they're drinking and smoking. Think the place could have gone up in flames. So he was looking at the girl thinking, I'm going to have to drag her body out of here if something goes wrong. Thank goodness it didn't. Thank goodness it didn't. Now, part of the fun was wrapping up a semi-conscious young woman with bandages because she was seen as a traffic fatality, because that was part of the fun of the surrealism. Yeah, fun with your sedated women. And we move on with that this is that is her lying there. And then she also was dancing a dance of death as a zombie in the middle, in addition to the girl that was naked and completely unconscious. Just good old time fun. Now, Bruce Arras, a real artist here in town, not that Dali wasn't, he certainly was. He was famous, he was charming, he was charismatic, he was repugnant, he was reprehensible, he was provocative, he was all of those things. He certainly was a star. He certainly was a star. But Bruce Arras lived here, and he drew pictures of Canterbury Row and these things. And what was happening is Bruce kept his eye on that girl, and he was the one that was going to carry her out. So that is my point. My point is, I'm going through real quick because these people are local artists and local heroes that the Museum of Monterey is not interested in, so I don't have time to talk about them either. So I vote that we stop celebrating the rich and famous who never lived in Monterey, and we start looking back at the actual history of Monterey and bring that back to the Museum of Monterey. And there's my bibliography, and I can send that to you. And this is a wonderful video of that party in Monterey. And I do appreciate your listening, Madam Toastmaster.